Thank you for tuning into the GridCenter. This is the Week 4 recap and Week 5 preview for the Mountain West Conference. I am your host, Shane Falco, along with my co-host, Big D. We're going to cover the new rankings, recap the Week 4 game of the week, look ahead to Week 5 game of the week, the spreads for all the Week 5 games, and the individual standout performances for Week 4. Game of the week in Week 4 was Wreckage versus the Hitmen, which was a 19-12 game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that score really doesn't tell you what really happened in this game. This game should have been over in the first half, but Wreckage couldn't capitalize. I'm not really sure what's going on. Maybe they're trying to fill out the new quarterback, but a lot of missed opportunities. I'm not taking anything away from the Hitmen. Defensively, they did the best they could, but from what I saw and actually this game should have been close.
I have to agree with that statement. I actually thought it was going to be a very big score, especially coming off that loss to the weekend Warriors. I really thought Wreckage was going to bounce back and make a big statement, especially avenging that loss. I mean, they still avenged the loss from that Pac-10 championship game, but I thought it was going to be a much bigger margin of victory than that. But what can you say? That's what the Hitmen do. They just find ways to stick around, and they in games somehow, some way, no matter what.
They was into the game until probably 1 minute left.
They must have picked up something from Preston when Preston and his guys ran with them last season, because they were just scrapping around, hanging around, smoke and mirrors. But hey, whatever keeps you in ball games, right?
Exactly.
Well, let's break down the individual standout performers and the spreads for the Week 5. What do you have there, Big D?
Thanks, Falco. We're going to go to the Mountain West Conference plays of the week, offensively and defensively. Offensively, we got Demetrius Barry from the Shockers. Yeah, he went from 13 to 15 for 205 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also had 2 extra points and 1 2-point conversion. Defensively, we got Chase White. He had a hell of a game. He had 5 flag pulls and 5 sacks for the Razorbacks. Let's take it away to the Mountain West spread for the week. Wreckage and the Seminoles. We have Wreckage favored by 2. No, we have Wreckage favored by 7, and I wrote that. I'm sorry, guys. All right, Hitmen versus the Shocker is a pick'em. That should be a decent game. I'm not really sure too much about that one. We got the Razorbacks versus GBA. We got GBA favored by 12, and these guys are going to be missing a quarterback, so that might be a little bit off. Depends on who shows up. Then we also have Jet Life versus the Swarm. This is going to be the Pac-10 play game of the week, and we have the Swarm favored by 3. Yes, I said it. They're favored by 3. Let's take it away to Falco, and he's going to do the rankings for the Mountain West.
Well, thank you, Big D. The Mountain West rankings are as follows. GBA remains at the top of the mountain, on top at number 1. So far, no signs of slowing down. This week, they will be in action without their QB, so we'll see if they keep on rolling. Number 2 is the Weekend Warriors, Pac-10 team who have already beaten Wreckage and should clearly be in the Mountain West. So right now, they're the number 2 team in the Mountain West rankings. Wreckage is at number 3, bouncing back from a loss to those Weekend Warriors with a game over the Hitmen, as we previously discussed. Game was a little closer than we thought it would be, but regardless of the fact, they still came out with a W. Razorbacks in action at number 4. They are facing GBA this week, who will be without their quarterback, and as stated on the website rankings, if Razorbacks can't beat GBA with their QB out, then I think the Razorbacks will go from contender status to pretender status in this conference. The Shockers are at number 5. Definitely a team that's just up and down, depending on who all shows up. I mean, they don't have a lot of guys on the roster in the first place. Last week, they really took it to the Seminoles in a big blowout. And they're facing the Hitmen this week, a team they also could blow out, or it could be a very close game. Like we said, the Hitmen always stick around. The Hitmen follow the Shockers, and they will be there at number 6. The Seminoles took a really bad loss from the Shockers, and they're down there at number 7. And bringing up the rear will be Jet Life, who, according to LVGridiron.com, is going to be a 3-point underdog to the also winless Pac-10 Swarm. I actually think Jet Life will win this game and get their first W. They've been around a little bit in a couple of games, had some moments. I think just physically they're a better team, so we'll see what happens. That's all we have for the rankings. Let's discuss that Week 5 game of the week a little more in depth there, Big D.
All right, let's go to the game of the week, which is going to be Razorbacks and GBA. Like we mentioned before during the picks, GBA's quarterback is not going to be here. I haven't really gotten a chance to see this guy play, but I heard he's a decent quarterback. And is me not seeing him, is that going to be the outturn of this game, or could Razorbacks pull it out?
Well, who knows? I mean, it's hard to say when a team doesn't have their QB there. The Razorbacks are going to be the most organized team that they've played this season. They've had a pretty cupcake schedule at this point. The only tough game they would have had was the Shockers, and the Shockers are winning that game up until about 3 minutes left with the QB there. I think they just ran out of gas playing 8-man football. So we'll see. I'm sure with the extra week off from the league, Razorbacks have certainly must have logged in at least another 60, 70 hours of practice. So we'll have to see how that goes. Honestly, I still think GBA pulls this game out. Right now, just defensively, they're clicking. The Razorbacks have been struggling to put up points. They should have lost their last 2 games. I mean, they struggled against Jet Life and Pac-10's H-Town. So right now, they haven't looked too crisp. They've pulled out games and they got W's. That's all that matters. So you can say they're battle-tested, but at this point of their career, being together this long, they should be beating teams like Jet Life and H-Town a lot easier, I would think, than having to rely on dropped interceptions and field goals. So we'll see. I think GBA pulls this game out. I honestly don't know if it should be a 12-point spread, but it could easily be. It's just going to be how they step up. I don't think GBA is going to miss a beat as far as what they do. They're going to run the same system. The backup QB has been a teammate of Jason, GBA's QB, for a while, so he knows what he wants to do. Obviously, he's not the same skill level as Jason, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm looking at, I've seen a couple of Razorbacks games this year, and they seem like they're not struggling to get over the hump, but last week was a better game for the offense. I mean, the best that I've seen them thus far. And they do a lot of stuff, and I think that this could be their breakout game, and this would be a good game to break out. I mean, if you want to catch somebody off guard who's not at 100%, this is the week that you would want to do it. So I think it's going to be close. I think 12 points is a little bit too high, but I think if they don't win, they'll come.
Well, I mean, like I said, if the Razorbacks can't beat GBA with QB not there, then I think we have to almost look at Razorbacks as not ready to win the championship yet, because the road's still going to have to go through GBA later on down the season. To be honest with you, I still think Wreckage wins this conference anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But I guess we'll see when the things fall out.
Yes, sir.
So that's going to wrap it up for us here in the Mountain West, where the Weekend Warriors are number 2 ranking. I am your host, Shane Falco, along with my co-host, Big D. Good luck to everyone on the field, and we'll see you next week.